Yeah.
Angry Bears Fan Podcast, episode 49, one away from 50. Um, like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Everybody's been tuning in. 50 episodes. We much appreciated when we get there. But big game coming up for the Bears. Every game upcoming is big for the Bears. Justin Fields, the coaching staff. Um, but I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, it was a good one against Detroit. We kind of talked about it a little bit where we kind of figured something like that was coming. You were saying that, the Bears have had Detroit's number. I picked the Bears to win the game outright. I just felt like momentum was starting to go in their favor a little bit. It's going to be a little bit of a different story this week, though. Cleveland, regardless of who's playing quarterback, their defense is very, very good. They're 6-1 at home. Myles Garrett's just an absolute monster. Uh, so Darnell Wright and Braxton Jones are definitely going to have their hands full. It's going to be a true test of how good they are as tackles. The last time Justin Fields played in Cleveland didn't end well for him. Joe Flacco, the 40-year-old man, can still spin it. Not saying he's like elite or anything like that, but
He had a good game to be off the couch.
he's a very good veteran who knows how to read a defense, and he plays the quarterback position well. So a little bit of a test on the road here. A lot of sports talk around the Chicagoland area is, you win this game if you're Chicago and you have an outside shot at making the playoffs. If you run the table, there's some things that should need to happen, but it starts with this game in Cleveland. There are also reports out there on Twitter. I don't know how true these are necessary, but I guess there was a poll of like 7 NFL GMs or something like that talking about the Bears' chances of, retaining Justin Fields compared to taking a quarterback number one. And all 7 unanimously said that if his fifth-year option wasn't picked up by now, chances are they're going to take a quarterback number one and they won't pick up his fifth-year option. I don't know how, true that works, but, if
That's
seven
not
NFL
true.
GMs said it,
Wouldn't it be
uh,
2 years early? Nobody gets their option picked up 2 years early, a year and a
uh,
half early.
few of them do, but I don't
Usually,
know.
not quarterback. Usually, either get signed. It's not a good sign that he hasn't been signed, I guess. But like Burrow, Lamar, all those guys. I think Herbert. None of those guys got their option picked up. They got re-signed because they had a good start.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I don't know how. Like I don't even think you can accept it until a certain time
No,
because
you
it's
can
no, because
they can accept it
it's
regardless.
contingent on how you do. Like if you make the Pro Bowl in your fourth year, it's like an actual franchise tag. Like it's like 25 mil or some shit, but there's like multipliers. So like if Justin does well in year four or if he like I know if you make the Pro Bowl you get more or something or All Pro or some shit, you get more. You would I think it turns into an actual franchise tag. But like I said, I don't know what GMs or is it old GMs? I I don't have an encyclopedia of the NFL knowledge, but I don't recall guys getting their 50-year options picked up in early year three. Like I don't, that's that don't. It's usually not how it works. Maybe it does. I don't, but
Well,
I
like you
can't think
said,
of
normally
anybody.
they're already resigned.
Well, I would normally they get signed after year three before like they're like because they're basically going to decline to play on the option. Like Lamar wasn't going to play on the 5th-year option. Some of these guys aren't. You know what I mean? I think he did play on the 5th-year option, but he was really good, so it was a high amount of money. Um, but like Joe Burrow, they weren't like, oh, we're gonna pick up his option. They just re-signed him. Mahomes, same thing. Um, but we'll see. I don't like I said, I don't. That's the discussion in Chicago right now. Justin or not. I thought he played well in Detroit. I picked the Lions to win. I thought it would be like 30-28, but the defense has been playing lights out lately and completely shut down Detroit. Um, as a team on both sides of the ball, I think we completely outplayed Detroit, who is an NFC contender. Like 6 out of the 8 quarters we played them. I think we match up well with them. Justin always plays, at least puts up good stats. He hasn't been turning the ball over lately. No fumbles, no interceptions. And I think they need to carry their momentum. Like you said, Garrett is a handful. when you look it up, it says Darnell Wright's having, you know what I mean? Like, oh, he's got great numbers and things like that. But I don't watch the games, and I'm not saying he's bad, but I feel like Aiden Hutchinson was kicking his ass most of the game, the beginning of the game. But it said he gave up no sacks or anything like that. But I could have swore Aiden Hutchinson like sacked Justin right off the edge from, I don't know. So I don't know how they track that stuff.
Well, here's the
Um,
thing. Aiden Hutchinson did have a sack, but it
oh no,
wasn't
you're right. Now that I think
it
about it,
wasn't against Darnell Wright.
it
He
was
bull rushed Nate Davis.
yeah, on the inside. Now that you thought that, yeah, you're now that you remind me, yeah, for he moved in. Maybe
Yeah.
Darnell Wright was giving him trouble. Um, but like I said, the Justin Fields thing is like all we could talk about. I'm always defending Justin because he's my guy, and like I said, I don't want any quarterback's my guy who's going to be on the Bears. And if we do move on, I'll ride for the new guy. Like I said, I just don't think it's the right play. Obviously, I'm not a GM, but I mean, we've seen GM make bad plays all the time. Um, and I don't know if it's I just don't like Caleb Williams. I haven't liked him since last year. In college, I'm not a big QB wins guy in the NFL because this is so everybody's got the best players in the world. But in college, you don't like USC. Fine, they didn't have the best kids, but they had like a top 10 recruiting class. They have the talent, and obviously coaching comes into play. But you should be able to hulk up, and if you're like gonna be balling in the NFL, you should be easily be able to dominate a college defense with you only 5-star wide receivers and 5-star offensive linemen.
I mean, but Patrick Mahomes was like 5-7 his final year at Texas Tech.
I think Patrick Mahomes is an anomaly, and he also was drafted by Andy Reid, and he had
I mean,
Tyreek Hill,
obviously, coaching,
and
coming into the NFL has a part of it, but I don't think you can
he's like the only
necessarily.
example though. Like I won't say the only one, but most guys who are good in the NFL were winners in college too. Who like what NFL quarterback was like you know what I mean, 6-5 or 7-4 in college and not winning their conference. You know what I mean? The guys who didn't do that are backups. But like
I mean,
Joe Burrow, Trevor
Brock
Lawrence,
Purdy.
Hurts. I mean, Purdy won like he was in D1 AA or whatever, but he was like a national champion.
Brock Purdy went to Iowa State.
Or did he win some? Oh, he won a couple. Oh, either way. But again, Brock
Tommy
Purdy,
DeVito.
DeVito. Yeah, but how many games they got? 2 or 3 games. And again,
He's
he's
won 3 straight.
after losing 3 straight. Again,
No,
I'm not saying
Tommy
the guys are bad. I'm just saying like, and I don't know, was he a winner in college? Brock Purdy did again.
Tommy
Brock Purdy,
DeVito played at Syracuse for 4 years and then transferred to Illinois. Do you think he was a winner?
I didn't know. I don't know where he went. But they've had some favorable matchups. The Packers game was an anomaly, but the Patriots fucking suck. Um, but most of these guys win. Like I said, you can throw out a few guys, Brock Purdy and fucking like I said, Mahomes were drafted to super teams with offensive geniuses calling the plays for him with multiple Hall of Famers as weapons. So while those guys are good, and I don't want to take anything away from them, I just don't think if you plot Brock Purdy on the Bears, he'd be an MVP candidate. And I think everybody in the whole world would agree there. Same with Patrick Mahomes. Maybe he'd still be good, but if he would have got drafted by the Bears, Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be two-time MVP, two-time Super Bowl champion. And so I think that comes into play. So yeah, if you're a loser and Caleb Williams gets, if you're telling me Caleb Williams is going to the Chiefs or the Niners, then yeah, I mean, you tell me anybody's going there, and I'm thinking they're probably going to be all right. But I don't think you throw Caleb Williams into Chicago, um, the fire in Chicago, and he's going to come out. You know what I mean? Bulletproof. I just think he lets a lot of that stuff get to him. A lot of the things that are wrong with him are not wrong with him, but like I said, he was playing with a worse team that wasn't as well coached as the other teams in his conference. They didn't have a good of a defense. Like that's all the problems he's gonna, you know what I mean, have in the NFL. He holds the ball too long. There's all the same problems we're gonna have. So I get the whole resetting the clock thing, but I also like who did that? Who reset the clock? Like that's a term they're using, but resetting the clock, it's either your guy sucks and you move on or not. There's not this thing like, oh, we're gonna get 5 more or 3 more extra years. It's really like 1.5, 2 maybe you get a little window where if your quarterback's really good, you're like, oh, we could stack, but eventually you got to pay them. Like they had to pay Burrow year 3. You know what I mean? They had to pay like Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. He doesn't even win. They had to pay him year 3 because he's so good. Like, so I don't like I said the resetting the clock thing is well, I don't get that. If you really think Caleb is head and shoulders better than Justin, and he's going to come in and take us to the playoffs, by all means. But in my opinion, rookie quarterbacks do not come in and take you to the playoffs. They might show flashes, they might play good, but rookie quarterbacks, like, more than likely you're throwing the season away if you have a rookie quarterback starting. It's not going to be a playoff season. Like, best case scenario, you make the wild card and lose.
Yeah, but you got to start somewhere with rookie quarterbacks. I mean,
I know,
if
I agree, but
if
we're in
Ryan
the middle
Poles
of it right now. It's a start over.
If Ryan Poles decides that, whoever he takes, whether it be Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels might shoot up the board at some point. If Ryan Poles as a talent evaluator goes, that's my guy, that's who I'm picking, then so be it. I mean, it's his job's going to rely on it. And, Justin probably get a second, couple third round picks for Justin, whatever the case may be. You start at the Sam Darnold trade, which was a 2, 4, and a 6. You start from there, and that's the base of your framework for a trade for
At two,
Justin.
four,
But
six, I think if that's what they got for Darnold, he was way better than Darnold ever was, even with
they,
like. So I don't know, like, maybe we get something like that, but I think we would just get way more for Caleb because people want him. Same with Bryce Young. He had shortcomings and people didn't care. Um, and I think the deal that Poles made, if he made another one like that and got us Max Crosby or some other defensive star on top of all those picks, I think we'd be set up to where it wouldn't essentially matter who our quarterback was. Like, obviously, to win the Super Bowl might matter, but to be a quality team that goes to the playoffs every year, I think we might get our roster to a point where we're just plugging in guys and playing. I want to be that and not draft Caleb 3 years, he sucks, we're doing this whole thing over again. Like, and I feel like that's what carousel we're on right now. Like, we're just gonna get Caleb. He's gonna have the same problems for 2 years that most rookies do, and then year three, the salary cap's gonna be all fucked up. We're gonna move on to people, and then we're not picking up his option and talking about who we're gonna tank for again. And I'm not a scout. I don't. Maybe Caleb Williams really is generational, but they say that about a lot of guys. They said that about Trevor Lawrence, and although he's doing good, he's been blessed with a shitty division. A pretty solid. They tanked. They were terrible the year after, so they had another good quality draft after they drafted him. Kind of like what the situation Justin Fields is in right now. But and he's like top. You know what I mean? Like the ninth best quarterback. He floats between like 8 and 15. But he's not. You don't watch the game. You're like, oh my god, that's Patrick Mahomes. You're like, oh great, he's a good NFL starting quarterback, and they're not winning anything either. They're obviously, see how bad the Chargers were. The luckiest comeback in NFL history. I won't say lucky, but like they were. He threw 4 interceptions in a playoff game, and they were losing 28-0 at halftime, and they came back and won, which is impressive. As on both ends, as much of a meltdown as is him coming back. So, like I said, I just don't know if this guy's going to step in and be Patrick Mahomes. That's what they're talking about, like, but that's what they were saying about Bryce Young. Well, they weren't saying Patrick Mahomes, but they were get him. He's going to be better than Justin, and he's going to step right in, and he can make throws Justin can't make. He has better anticipation, and like I think there's plenty of things Justin needs to work on, but statistically, getting a rookie quarterback is throwing that season away. And I don't think, well, I guess maybe Poles is in the position to throw another season away, but I don't think he is, or the coaching staff. I guess if we're getting all new everybody, they'll be fine to throw the first season away. But and maybe he is, but I'm trying to think of a rookie quarterback who stepped in and like led a mediocre team to the playoffs.
look what CJ Stroud's doing this year with Houston.
But
That's
they're
a
not going to
playoff
make
team.
the they're not going to make it. I don't think he's got
They're
hurt.
gonna
It's
make the
over.
playoffs.
He's hurt though, isn't he? He's going to miss like 2 more games.
No, he's in a concussion protocol. He's not missing 2 games.
He's missing this next one for sure.
No, he's not.
I'm pretty sure he said he was still in the concussion protocol today or yesterday.
That doesn't mean anything. He
Well,
could be in
it may be,
concussion
but
protocol up
we also
until
don't know. But that's again saying, look at CJ Stroud. It's like maybe. I mean, would anybody takes or like I would compare CJ Stroud to Justin Herbert, and he ain't get. You know what I mean? He had some flashy games. They were 8-8 a lot, but at the end of the day, they lose. Oh wow. And we'll see if maybe are they really gonna score again? What is Brandon Staley's getting so fucking fired.
oh, he's
Uh,
getting fired
um,
tomorrow.
And again, even if let's say Stroud they do make the playoffs with Stroud, that would make it even less likely that the next draft would have a quarterback and it was good. That's what I'm saying. That's how like that doesn't happen often. So even if Stroud does somehow magically get them to the playoffs, um, that would like lower the chances that the next class had another quarterback that was primed and ready to be an NFL playoff contender. Um, and I don't, like I said, I think Justin's floor with a quality team is, like I said, we make the playoffs. I think if he didn't miss those other 4 games, and you know what I mean, we cleaned up the defense is cleaned up now, but if the defense was playing like it was now, we would have won even more games. And last year we'd have won even more games. Good thing we didn't because we needed the picks. But
Yeah, but I mean, we can't, as fans, we can't sit here and play the what if game because realistically, yeah, we should have won the game against Detroit. We should have won the game against Denver. But then, of course, realistically, we should have probably lost the game against Minnesota, only winning 12-10. And we could have lost the Carolina game. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I mean, yeah.
We can't play
What I'm
those
saying is
what
like I
if.
think if he plays the whole year, we're going to be 9-8, 10-7, based on how it's
You
playing
might
out
be
now.
9-8, even with him missing the four
That's what I'm
games.
saying. I'm just and
But
like you said,
but
some games
then
can go
but
the other
then
way.
hold on. But then that goes the other way. If you're 9-8, even without him missing those four games, Tyson Bagent, while he wasn't flashy and he wasn't all this, that's an undrafted rookie that went 2-2 with Justin Fields out. So you're telling me that if you have a team around that you're adding more pieces to, that you can't put in a rookie quarterback and still perform at the same level that you were performing with Justin in the lineup, because it's already been proven this year that we're able to do that.
Sort of. It was like an opportunistic time. Joe Tyson, when he got in, everybody started getting back to. We were missing the first 4 games. We were missing Brisker, Eddie Jackson, Jalen Johnson missed a game. Braxton Jones missed 4 games, right? Tevin missed 2. Lucas Patrick missed 1. Nate Davis missed what 4 or 5.
I mean,
Um,
it's all subjective either
well,
way.
yes, again, and also he played the Raiders, who look good now, but they were playing terribly at that time. The Panthers are the worst team in the league. Um, and it worked for Justin's favor too. We've been playing better. Everybody's back healthy. We got Sweat at that time in that time frame too, so that really lit a spark under the defense. Um, I just like like I said, maybe Caleb does step in and he's just as good as an NFL quarterback, and he leads. Just usually rookies aren't. And Stroud put on a good first half of the year, but who knows that's how he's going to close out. I mean, you don't always finish how you start. Um, and you get some tape on a guy, and then you know what I mean. Things happen. I was looking on PFF. He's like the second least accurate passer. I don't know how that works, but I like his passes. Like he throws the second most off target passes. I don't know how it works, and he looks fine. We both thought we both knew Stroud was going to be better than Bryce Young. Um, but that's like I said, they got a great coach, great young coach, and the stars align. Like just in like normally rookie quarterbacks don't statistically they don't. I'm not saying it doesn't happen and all these guys suck. I'm just saying usually if your quarterback's a rookie, you're not going to the playoffs. That's just usually how the NFL goes.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the game that's coming up, because we talk a lot about offseason stuff that we don't have to worry about that right now. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the game. What do the Bears need to do to beat Cleveland on Sunday?
They need to figure out where the run game went that doesn't involve Justin Fields, first of all. I feel like that's been really stagnant, even though we've won these last like 3 or 4 games. We've been playing well, but I think the running game has kind of disappeared. It's been more of Justin running and getting the job done that way. And we all know that that's not a long term recipe for success. They need to work Foreman back in there. I mean, he's just running the hardest. Herbert, I don't know if he's hurt, but he doesn't look good. Roshan they keep saying how good of a pass blocker he is, but I feel like every time he's out there, he fucking whiffs and gets Justin killed.
I will.
Um,
I mean, I'll give the rookie a pass. He's still a
I
rookie.
mean, I
He's
won't
got,
say, yeah, he gets a pass, but
but
what I'm saying is like they put him specifically out there to pass block because
I
he's so
really
good
think
at it.
that I said it in the offseason that Khalil Herbert was not a lead back, and I think it's starting to show
Yes,
that
he's
he's
not
not a
good.
lead back. I do want to see more of Deontay Foreman as the lead back. They're going to go with the hot hand. Khalil Herbert had, what was it, the least amount of carries last week. I think Roshan had more touches than he did as well, with Deontay Foreman leading the way. But yeah, the run game's been almost non-existent. Um, I want to see I want to see more improvement from Justin. No turnovers, and that includes fumbles. Just turnovers are killers. This Browns defense is very opportunistic, but they are missing culprit. Their safety, he's out for the remainder of the season. They're missing the other D end opposite Myles Garrett. He's going to be out for the season with a torn pectoral. I mean, Cleveland's
They're
hurting. They're
missing
going to
their two offensive tackles too, I
Yeah, they're
believe.
missing their two starting offensive tackles, so I want to see the defense create pressure. Even though Yannick Ngakoue is on the IR, he broke his ankle, he's out for the
Yeah.
season. I want to see, I want to see some pressure. I mean, Dominique Robinson, hopefully he can, step up, next guy up kind of role. He's been inactive the last 6 weeks. Obviously, they're not seeing something in practice that has warranted him being active.
Dude, because he flashed usually last year, even in the
Hopefully, with the addition of Montez Sweat and the emergence of you know Andrew Billings and Dexter Senior on the defensive line, Dexter Senior's looks really good when he's on the same side of the line as Montez Sweat. He wins his one-on-one battles a lot. I think his pass rush win rate is pretty decently up there right now. At least over the last several weeks, it has been. So the defense has got to stay par. I don't think you can give Cleveland 24 points and win this ball game. I think you got to
no.
keep them under 20.
Yeah.
I think this game is more of like a 21-17 either way. 2017. It's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any team, unless somebody has a whole bunch of turnovers. But I mean, they got 40-year-old Joe Flacco back there. He's not a mobile guy. He's, sort of like Goff in terms of you get pressure in his face, and he's gonna just make errant throws. He's had a clean pocket to throw from. They do have Amari Cooper, but I mean, Jalen Johnson's been putting the lock on, whoever his wide receiver's been. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta combined for what, like 40 yards receiving
It
against the
was all in
Bears
like the
last week.
first quarter too, damn near.
And those are two of the top guys in the league. And this week we got to deal with Amari Cooper and David Njoku. And David Njoku's looked like Joe Flacco's number one target since he took over the starting job in Cleveland. So if the defense can, at least do somewhat what they've been doing these last, 6, 7 weeks, I think we should be okay. It's going to be a close game, but no turnovers on offense, and let's create some turnovers on defense. And I think
Yeah,
the Bears come out with a victory.
I do. I do think we're gonna win this game. I think Joe Flacco had his like resurgence game. You know what I mean? I think he's gonna come back down to reality. He looked really good last week, but the Bears have been playing at a high level on defense, and I expect them to continue it. And losing Yannick hurts, but more so in the pass rush on third and fourth down. Sometimes he's a liability out there
Run
on stopping the
defense.
run defense. Oh my God! They just picked off a screen and
I know. I just
they.
saw that.
Oh my good! They have 16
Even
points.
the quarterback for the Chargers right now is smiling and laughing because he knows how ridiculous that was.
What the hell? Wow.
Wow.
But I agree with a lot of the points you made. I think every game from now on, they're all playoff games for the Bears. Every game is important for Justin. I think if he doesn't basically play like he played against the Lions for every game moving forward, it will be Caleb Williams or whoever, you know what I mean, whoever they plan on going with. Um, but I think he's got it in him. I think he silenced all the haters. I think he's been getting better. I think what's lost in all this is that he has been getting better every year. It's not as fast as we'd like to see it, but um, unlike the Jordan Loves, he didn't get to sit down and learn anything. He got thrown into the fire on a shitty team in a cold city who is pretty unforgiving, and we don't forget your the bad plays from the past. But like I said, I have high hopes, and I think he can light up the Brown. I think he can light up the Browns. I think the Falcons can be had, and I think we saw just Tommy DeVito beat the Packers. And if he closes out this season with a win on the Packers, I think he saves his job. He probably save Eberflus'S too. Um, And I think the team knows that. I mean, they got phones like us, and they don't got to work. You know what I mean? They don't got to go to work like we do. I'm sure they're sitting on their phones as much, if not more, than us, and they see the noise. And I think the team loves Justin. They like Flus, and I think they know that they're playing for their jobs. And if they all don't step up, then there's going to be a whole new regime in the building.
Yeah, I mean, I said it last week. I think 8 wins keeps them all anyway.
Yeah,
Probably 7 wins realistically keeps
I
them all.
think if it's 7 wins and they beat the Packers, I think the Packers has to be one of those wins, or it has to be a crazy good game. But I just don't. I think they do have to beat the Packers. I think something like that'll stick in the memory, especially the McCaskies, where they're like, "Oh, we beat the Packers. We're riding out on a high note. We'd be going into the next season on a high note." And Pace made a really good deal for DJ Moore in that first pick. Um, when it first happened, I kind of second guessed it. I was like, "Oh, he might be able to get a little more." He pulled the trigger a little early. But in hindsight, we've got the best wide receiver the Bears have ever had. He's the top wide receiver, 5 wide receiver in the NFL, basically right now. Not obviously talent wise, but production wise. And that was with Justin being gone for 4 games and Beijing out there, and he's still balling. Those picks that we have set us up for this next draft to get us Caleb Williams if we wanted him, or to do the same thing over again. So I would love to see what Poles would do in this offseason. There wasn't many free agents to get last year. There might be some more this year. He's in a better position to trade for disgruntled players this year because our team's just better last year. He kind of pigeonholed himself with the Claypool deal because Claypool sucked, so he couldn't really. I'm sure he didn't want to make another pick deal for another veteran player.
Yeah.
But this year, I think for sure he'll be trading for a vet, a disgruntled vet. I think we'll get one big name free agent, and like I said, it depends how the draft goes. Maybe you're right. Being optimistic, and I'll turn. You know what I mean? My frown upside down on Caleb Williams if he does become a Bear. Um, but for the time being, I just think we're getting there. We're seeing it on the field now. I mean, the Lions have usually been a joke to us, and but they're not a joke anymore. And we should have beat them the first time, and it was impressive what we did to them this time. And I just think we can build on that. And I think getting a new quarterback kind of we take a step back from that. We're on some of the stuff we built.
Well, it was a statement win against Detroit. Now we need a real big statement to the rest of the league that, okay, maybe we need to take them a little bit more seriously. Because, like I said, Cleveland's a tough out at home in Cleveland. I mean, and
It's going to be cold.
yeah, if you can win this game, you have Arizona and Atlanta, and then you go into Green Bay at 8-8, and anything can happen. You know, I think if they win this game, hopefully they don't fall into a trap game against Arizona or Atlanta,
Yeah,
but that's going to be a telling of Eberflus as a coach. Who are you as a coach? Are you going to let your team slip, or are you going to ride this momentum and
exactly.
play a pretty much a win in your in scenario against the
That's what I
Packers?
said. Justin too. This is Justin's chance. His gripe on him and Flus was he couldn't beat the division, couldn't win in general, and they were choking away games that big games they were choking. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I think we just have to play extremely well, and we have to beat the Packers in that game because could be a win in your end game. It's definitely a statement win, and it more than likely would end their season too. So even if we're out of it,
Absolutely.
we'd probably be ending their season by beating them. And that's what I want to see. I don't want to see a full reboot. I was calling for Getsy's job earlier, and deservedly so. He was coaching poorly, but he definitely figured it out. I don't know if it was sweat, all of us getting healthy, but he has turned it around, and the defense looks amazing. And at first, I kind of thought it was like, oh, it's just 2 weeks, it's just 3 weeks. But more and more I watch, it just looks like Sweat's the real deal. Jalen Johnson is healthy now, and he looks like a number one. These young kids that they drafted in the secondary are really good.
Well,
And
that's
then
all the secondary needed was a pass rush.
somebody,
You
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You can't you no defensive back in the league can cover somebody for 6 or 7 seconds straight. We had this conversation last year when it was just abysmal. When you have no pass rush, your defensive backs cannot cover that long. So now that they don't have to cover somebody for 6 or 7 seconds and they're getting pressure on the quarterback. These quarterbacks are making bad throws. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
This defense has become very opportunistic because of Montez Sweat and the pressure that's been created.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we needed. And Cleveland is, like you said, Cleveland's without their 2 offensive tackles. I expect I expect Eberflus to stay. He's been very aggressive on the blitzing side. He's been
Yes.
blitzing a lot more. They don't stay in a lot of basic cover two. A lot of teams nowadays don't stick with their base defense anyway. A lot of teams play nickel. It seems like nickel's the new
Yeah,
just
base. Oh, yeah.
universal, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, base defense. But he's been blitzing out of nickel. And he's been blitzing a lot. I mean, he usually brings. I've noticed it's either Sanborn, Edmonds, or Gordon or Brisker. Those four are the four that blitz when
Yes.
you know what I'm saying, and they do a pretty good job of it. And you know, I expect at least 3 or 4 sacks on Joe Flacco, you know, this weekend, this Sunday. If
I'm going, yeah, probably 2 interceptions. Joe
yeah,
Flacco is like golf, where he's like a timing guy, like you said. He's
yes,
gonna throw it.
100%.
Um, they were talking like in the game, he made a crazy throw. Was it on fourth down to Donovan Peoples Jones? And people were talking. It's like that's something we definitely need Justin to do, but that's more. Sometimes that is a downfall of some of the pocket passes where like it looked like a pretty throw, but it was like he was just throwing it no matter what was happening, and it just like they didn't pick the right coverage. But I think we can get in Flacco's face, knock him off a square. Like you said, we know he likes to go to Njoku, um, and keep doing what we're doing. We're getting 2, 3 turnovers a game the last 4 games or something like that, and ride that train. Like you said, Justin, don't cough the ball up. I won't hold him to 0. That's tough. He's been playing great, but like I said, none of these quarterbacks getting 0 turnovers. But keep it, say under. Like I said, 1 is what like the max. That's what you should be looking at. No more than 1, because I don't want him to play scared to get. I think that's like the next step where it's like Justin needs to pull the fucking trigger, like and not be afraid to throw a interception. Oh my, the Raiders are playing inspired.
I don't think they're playing inspired. I think the Chargers right now are just playing extremely they've quit on their coach.
Yeah. And like
100% they
and
have
like
quit Staley.
in that terms, like I said, the Bears have not quit on Eberflus. I think they have heard the noise just like the fan base or the fan base has been making the noise. Um, but they are playing for Eberflus. I think they're playing for Justin. I think more than before, a lot of players are coming out and showing support for Justin, and of course nobody's going to come out and say bad things about them. That's what always everyone say. Um, but um, I think they've been saying like some really heartfelt stuff because they know they know better than the fans, and I like to think that's why we're doing this. That I know better than most of the fans too, but um, I think they see it, and I'm like, so I see it. To me, he's just a winner. I know he has been doing a lot of winning, but in these circumstances, the Bears have put him under. It's very hard to succeed, and I know he's choked some games away that he could have won, but it's still like even then we would have had losing seasons, and it wouldn't really have mattered. But I'm hoping for the best. I think you said 21-17. I think we're going to beat them like 28. I think it's going to be kind of what we did to the Lions, 28-10. I think even with their good defense, Justin just he makes big running plays. He extends drives. We're getting more, we're doing pretty good on third down. We're closing out in the red zone and like the small stuff that wins games. And as long as he doesn't turn the ball over late in the fourth quarter, I think we're going to beat them no problem. They're just too beat up.
Well, this is the best defense by far they've had to face all
Yes.
season, so we'll see. I don't
Yeah.
think they're going to score 28 points. They only give up 16 at home a game. I don't think
Well, it's
they
Justin
put
like that.
I don't think they put 28 up on they've played Baltimore and they didn't give up 28 to Lamar. They're not going to give up 28 to Justin Fields. It's just not happening.
That's a
Um,
rivalry game. It just be like that. Damn, that was a good throw.
that was a really nice throw.
Yeah, it's crazy. Make that throw and all the fucking terrible ones he thrown all game. But that's not much to go on. Like I says, it's kind of the same, regurgitating the same shit over and over again. Will they? Won't they? With Justin. I'm excited for the season end because I think once the season's over, I think we'll have our answer. I think it'll be pretty clear if we're going to stick with Justin or if we're going to be moving on based on how we close this season out. And I think that'll paint. I think the blurriness of the future is what's causing the fan base so much anxiety. We're kind of caught in purgatory, caught in the middle because say what you want about Justin, at best he's slightly above, or at worst he's slightly above average. And as a fan base who doesn't always get good quarterbacks, it's hard to just throw away somebody who's not a straight up scrub. Like you know what I mean? Like we just been
Oh
having
yeah.
bum after bum after bum, and to throw away somebody who's like I said, I think at worst just as like a top 15 quarterback who you know what I mean. If he plays for 10 years, 3 or 4 of them he'll statistically be in the top 10 every now and then just because he's like I said. But uh, we'll see how that year finishes out, and what the hell? Um, and if Justin and Flus can save their jobs, the Bulls are playing a lot better. I don't think Billy Donovan can save his job. I don't. I know they extended him, but I think he'll be getting fired after this year. However that
I'm
works.
I'm telling you, I mean, I know we had the conversation, briefly that just because it could be like a Laurie Markkinen situation where he's on a bad team, therefore, but he's not even the first option like Laurie is in Utah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Kobe White might
he has been playing well.
he might be for real.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just an extremely late bloomer. I don't think I've seen a bad game from him over the last like 6 or 8 games or something
Well, I
like
mean, I
that.
don't know what you mean by for real. I think he's. Thought he was a bench player, and now I think he is a
He's
quality starting
definitely a
point guard.
starter.
But he's not. I don't
Definitely a
think he's
starter.
like top 10. He's like 20, and you know what I mean. He's getting 20 to 22 with 5 and 5, which is great. The Bulls need that. I think the energy he plays with though is he plays fast, and I just Zach LaVine didn't do that. Zach LaVine was just like thought he was like Kobe and was like trying to do like Luca type of shit. I feel like Kobe's just quick. He like gets the ball, he goes right to the basket. You know what I mean? He gets the ball, he takes a shot right away. And I think that's more that works better for the new NBA. Like you already got DeMar who wants to face up and hold the ball and make his play. It's like they needed some energy to play fast. They didn't have a point guard, and although he's not a traditional point guard, he gets the ball up the court and he gets them into their offense quick instead of standing around not doing anything.
Yeah, he's more of a combo guard, but
Yeah.
he hits his open threes
Yes. He puts the ball on
at
the
a
floor and attacks the
pretty
rack.
good clip. Yeah, he can dish the ball. I think the pick and roll game with him and Vucevic works pretty well. But the team just needed a point guard to really kind of drive them. There's still no trade market for Zach LaVine. I guess his agents are trying to still work out a trade to get him to the Lakers, but nobody fucking wants him because they all
Yeah.
see what's going on. Like,
He's like a powder. He seems like a cancer too, and the Bulls are playing good without him. So it'll be interesting to see what they get. I don't think the Lakers are gonna do it, like unless we're giving them Caruso too. But what unless they're just giving us D'Angelo Russell and picks, I don't think they're gonna give us Rui or Reeves or anybody like that.
yeah, I don't think so either.
Because they could use the role players.
Hmm.
They need to. They're about to make. They're a realistic contender based on how everybody's been playing so far, and I don't see it. I was thinking maybe the Knicks. Honestly, if I'm the Bulls, I'm driving on New Orleans and trying to get like Zion or something like something. I don't know. Like I don't see what it. Maybe the Knicks and you get RJ Barrett back. He's all right. He's a nice 2 way player who you know what I mean. You can plug in and be okay. But I thought Levine said he didn't want to go to the Knicks. So who knows? Or the Warriors? They're in trouble right now. Maybe they make a desperate play and you get Kaminga
Oh,
and Moody and
fucking
Andrew Wiggins
Draymond,
or
dude,
something
Jesus
like trade
Christ. There's
Caruso. Yeah, that Draymond thing was ridiculous.
there's something wrong with that man
And
mentally.
the part I don't get is like, how you gonna say that's an accident? Like, we
Yeah, I
all
didn't mean
play
to swing on him.
sports.
What are you
You
talking
did a
about, bro?
360 and landed the punch. It'd have been one thing if he would like hit him in the arm or something. Like, what are the odds you spin around like a maniac and land a fucking punch to the face of somebody? Like, what is wrong with that guy? And I'm a
I
fan of
I
the rough NBA. I don't like how soft it's gotten, but Draymond is like throwing punches. Like, come on now. Like, if you want to shove the guy,
Draymond's a throwback to the late '80s, early '90s. Like, could you imagine him versus Dennis Rodman? That would be the matchup of the century. I would pay to watch that. Him versus prime Dennis Rodman. I mean, Dennis Rodman would kick his ass because he's a fucking psychopath.
yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like that would be a great matchup to see.
Indefinite suspension though for some that shit that was interesting. The chokehold I thought they took a little overboard because I thought it was like a team fight and he, you know what I mean. I thought it was a little excessive, but it wasn't like I don't think it was like out of order. There was like a big fight at the middle of the court and people were grabbing people and stuff like that. But the punch was just ridiculous. When he stepped on Sabonis, that was ridiculous. Well, I don't know what he was thinking. Um, but yeah, the Bulls. I'm seeing good things, but I still see Billy Donovan out there, and I just don't see an avenue for success for them. Like unless somebody really pulls the trigger and does a fucking great deal for them for Levine, and I just don't see. I can't see the team who would want to do it. I mean, the Lakers said stuff, but I don't think the Lakers would do it for more than D'Angelo Russell and like 2 firsts at this point. I don't think, like I said, we're not getting Reeves, we're not getting any of their. Oh my goodness, any of their role players. Um, and like I said, the Knicks, maybe Philly. Again, I don't know who you even get. So we'll see how it goes. Um, that's all I can think of. Anything you got?
No, just go Bears.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully this Sunday turns into a big momentum shift for the city of Chicago. Like I said, I wouldn't mind if Eberflus stayed. I really wouldn't. It's
On the
just
way he's been, well, I was just talking about this with somebody. I agree with you, and I said it earlier before. Like I was calling for his job, but I can admit when I don't know if I'm wrong, but like he has done a great job. The defense is a complete 180. We're basically one of the top 5 to 10 units in the league right now, and I would like to see how much better it can get if we added another defensive end, another rotational defensive lineman, maybe another DB if we need one. But it's like I thought it's looking good. If we add somebody a little bit better, faster, and more of a tackler than Eddie Jackson, like we might be, like I said, be top 3 defense. So we'll see how it goes. Go Bears! Like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Um, I'll talk to you later. I'll probably text you tomorrow, maybe even call you so we can talk about the other stuff.
yeah. I was gonna say if you wanted to stop the recording, I can